Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Rob, we know that the Lakers looking for a new coach. JJ Redick, reported by some to be the favorite or the leader, I should say, the leader of the bunch. Sam Cassell also listed, and James Borrega, who coached Charlotte, didn't have much success there, but was their coach. Those are three of the names that are out there. It's now 26-11, by the way, Minnesota up. But Rob, Paul Pierce, I mean, he just flamed JJ Redick. Rob G, you want to, do we have, there's no sound, right? Or there is sound. Here he is, Paul Pierce.
If you want to make it look good and sound good, I mean, you go with JJ Redick. I mean, he has.
But how does that look good and sound good?
I mean, because you hear him, it sounds great. They draw up plays, and it sounds like the right thing to do. Sounds like he has a great IQ. Sounds like he has a voice or maybe a demeanor for coaching. Maybe it sounds like it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like
but
almost.
You can't hire nobody based on sound.
I get it. I mean, I brought this reference up many times. I mean, it's like
that's what they do.
It's like an Instagram model. It looks good all on there. It looks good, and then when you see it in person, it ain't what you think.
It's a good analogy. It's a good analogy. Like,
have you ever done that?
What's that?
Tried to meet an Instagram model.
No,
and found out,
I'm not doing that. No,
it's not.
No,
because now with not now with makeup. Makeup's been around.
No, but they got.
But you
all
ever
kinds
seen
of stuff,
some of those on TV on the Instagram where they show like before or makeup, no makeup, and
what do they call it?
You can look completely different.
Yeah, what they call it? And then obviously
AI, you can graphically you can change
filter,
too.
Chris. They got like a filter.
But I'm talking about just makeup. Period.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Come on,
and probably a little filter in there too.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, none of us know whether or not JJ Redick will be a good coach. Pierce is right, Rob, in that you listen to him. He seems like he would be he's smart enough to be a coach. He obviously played the game, so he knows what it's like to be around or coach or play with superstars. So that could help him in terms of coaching superstars and role players as well. He's been a star at Duke. He's been a role player in the NBA. I don't doubt that he could be a very good coach. I just don't think that the Lakers' job is I think right now, Rob, and I get it, he's 39. He's old enough to be a coach. But I feel like this is his generation of players, essentially, that he played against. And I think when you look at the average or slightly above average, whatever, players throughout the game, history of the game, who have become great coaches, Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, who am I missing? I mean, there's several out there, but to say those two, Pat Riley, they were a little bit more removed from their playing days, Rob. And I just think it's easier to get the respect of a younger generation of players. Now, so I'm not saying guys wouldn't respect him. Obviously, LeBron does respect JJ Redick. They're doing a podcast together. But I just think, a lot of guys are like, man, we played against you. I know when you slacked off. I know you couldn't guard, so it's just a little different. They didn't know Phil Jackson was just an average player. Or Pat Riley.
Right.
It was, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't play against them. So I think there's a little of that, Rob.
Yeah, I think it's just a bad situation for a couple reasons. The Lakers are supposed with LeBron and stuff. You're putting a novice, Chris. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know basketball or whatever, and he played in the league or whatever. But it just doesn't seem like that should be his first gig. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem like that should be his first gig, and that's the biggest problem I have with it. And then the other thing too is, how the other players are going to respond, with him and LeBron, and they have podcasts together. And is this LeBron talking or is this you? You know what I mean?
Udonis Haslem said almost that exact statement, Rob. Rob G, you find the Udonis Haslem quote. And remember, Haslem played with LeBron. But he said essentially exactly what you just said, Rob.
That's the issue you have. You have a chance of alienating your teammates and then you don't know. You're like, and then when things get changed or something happen, people be like, oh, yeah, that was LeBron. You know what I mean? LeBron's doing this, and I don't know who's doing. Or if LeBron says something to JJ Redick in his ear or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just sets up. They're too close. It's
Right.
just a bad. The optics are bad.
Rob G's got the quote from Udonis Haslem.
Yeah, I wish I had the sound, but here's the quote. If it's JJ, you're going to have a cynical locker room. You're going to have guys saying, is the coach going to do a podcast after the game with LeBron? He's going to have a cynical locker room that side-eyes everything JJ says. They're going to always wonder, is it JJ's message or is it LeBron's message?
Nah, there you have it, Rob. So I agree with that. I also think, like, look, I do, as I said, JJ Redick, I'm sure, knows the X's and O's well enough. But Rob, can we be real? All these coaches know X's and O's.
Right.
Now, they all aren't great game coaches. You have to know when to make adjustments, in the mid game. You have to know how to do your substitutions, all of that stuff. So that stuff is somewhat innate, or you just learn it from being an assistant or whatever. But the X's and O's, man, let's not act like, Darvin Ham just got fired. We really think he didn't know X's and O's? Any of these coaches, Mike Budenholzer got fired. Do we think he didn't know X's and O's? Frank Vogel.
Right.
It's can you relate to the players? Can you get their buy-in, Rob? And that's what's most important. Can you get their buy-in, and do you get them to maximize their abilities?
Right, and get people to work together, push the right buttons, Chris. Some guys need to be kicked in the butt. Other guys need to be patted on the back. It's about dealing with personalities. That's what a lot of coaching is.
Right.
They used to always say that about Chuck Daly when he was a coach with the Pistons. You had all these different personalities. Can you get these guys to work together? And you're right. The X's and O's, Chris, they're coaches. People know that. There's plenty of people. When Larry Bird was coaching the Pacers, and they have Dick Harder and Rick Carlisle.
Harder and Rick Carlisle.
Those guys, come on, man. They were coordinating that stuff. Yeah.
Rob, I talked about Redick's age. He's 39. Steve Kerr, when he started coaching the Warriors, was 49. So, again, totally removed, you know what I mean, like from playing against any of these guys. Phil Jackson, Rob, was 44. Mark Jackson was 46.
And guys didn't play that long, Chris.
No, Pat Riley
right.
was younger. He was 36, but he stopped playing at 30.
So he was 6 years removed.
Yeah, so I just think, it's easier to get a buy-in, and that's what we're saying is so important when you're a little bit removed as a player.
I'm going to say this now. That's just my gut. He's getting a job. That's just my
The Lakers?
Yep, that's my gut.
I think, look,
that's my gut.
We said, no, you might be right. It could. But I agree with, I don't think it should be him. I agree with Haslem and what Haslem and you said. I agree with, my own take that I just think he needs to be more removed from the game, and I actually think they should, look, I know he's not getting it, Mark Jackson, but I think Sam Cassell, Sam's paid his dues. Sam was a leader as a player.
I agree. I don't know why Sam can't get an opportunity.
Right.
He's done a lot.
He's been with a lot of coaches. He's been with Doc Rivers. He's been with now he's in Boston with obviously Joe Mazzulla. He's been around, and I'd like to see Sam get a shot. But ultimately, Rob, I don't know that it matters. I don't think this team is going to win a championship. Sorry, Rob G, but I just think that's the fact. I do wonder, though, Rob, will they make any types of moves? There's talk, will they go after Donovan Mitchell? Could they get him? That obviously would change things. They try to go that 3-star route, Rob. And a lot of people now are saying, that's not really the way to go in the NBA today because of the new salary structures, and you can't really
you need bench players. You need
really,
a team.
Right. That's always the challenge because even remember in Miami, dudes were signing for the minimum.
Right. If they didn't get those guys to do that, they wouldn't have had it. Might not have had enough. I agree.
Right. And Phoenix, they got minimum signings, but it wasn't any like really good players who were like, you know what, I'm gonna take the minimum to win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I want to play
just
with
dudes
with Booker and
that's all
Durant.
they were worth.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's tough, but we will see. It certainly make things interesting. I'm not saying that'll happen, but that's the talk that's what they're gonna try to make happen.